wonder what the doctor does smell like, if he even has a smell.
Burning.
Probably not, right? Like,
I hope he smells like they describe the angel Michael as smelling in the movie Michael. Like, he just smells like whatever women want.
Popcorn.
Whatever their favorite smell is. She just smells like chocolate chip cookies or some shit. But that means for somebody out there, sweaty balls would be the answer, probably.
Can we just get going?
Nope.
We are going. We're having a deep conversation.
This is the episode, Chris.
Yeah, this is
I
it.
know.
This is the episode.
But we haven't even gotten to the summary.
All right, let me do it.
We haven't
Then
gotten
we
to
can
the
talk about
intro.
his stink.
Let's do it. Don't worry. I've got plenty of inappropriate jokes to make, Jake, so we'll have plenty of chances to do this.
Oh,
Nice.
no. It's going to be one of those days.
Yeah. Come on, you didn't know that as soon as you saw this episode?
No. 'Cause it's
okay.
very sweet and romantic for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, no, not once I'm done with it. Hello and welcome to A Star to Steer Her By, a Star Trek podcast. My name is Caitlin, and with me today are...
Jake.
Chris.
And another Jake. No, it's Ames.
Ha!
Shit.
He looks so pleased.
We're here for episode 251!
Holy.
Yeah, no, we've officially crossed into madness. Like, it's like if we were crazy cat women, it's like when you finally get over 5 cats, it's a slippery slope into disaster. That's where we are now.
My family at one point had 10 cats.
Oh, well, how many people?
4.
Oh, that's okay. It's only 2.5 cats per person.
Yeah. I worked at a humane society and would just fall in love with cats and bring them home.
Oh my god, Chris, could I start volunteering at a shelter?
No.
Damn it. That's all right. I basically, now that the drawbridge is open, I'm just going to bring home cats whenever I want. I don't have to ask anymore.
That's
It's
the
just going to
life.
happen.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just how it's going to be. Don't tell Chris. I'm sure he won't hear this. Oh, fuck. He's right there. He's going to edit this.
I'm
He's
gonna
going to
do
hear
this
this
again.
twice or 3 times.
Oh, God, so many times. All right. Well, anyway, I know you probably, from what we've already gotten into, thought this was Cat Week, but it's not. It's a
Every
regular
week
old
is
week
Cat
here
Week.
on... Huh?
Every week is Cat Week.
That's because Neelix he's kind of cat-like. I don't know. Anyway, we're here to talk about 2 episodes of Star Trek The Voyager. This week we're going to discuss Lifesigns and investigations. In Lifesigns, the Voyager picks up a distress signal from a Vidiian craft, but when they hail, there's no response, so they beam...
They fire immediately and
yeah, destroy the scab monster on board. Nope, they beam aboard their phagid friend and discover that it is a lady Vidiian. And while the doctor has given her the once-over, if you know what I mean, he discovers that she's got some kind of weird implant in her headspace that's like downloading her brain and shit. And she's dying. So he thinks, well, what I could do is if I could utilize the positronic blah, 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 whatever, and make her into a hologram and put her brain thoughts into her hologram body, well, I would have a date for the Sadie Hopkins, what is it? Sadie Hopkins? Sadie Hopkins?
Yes.
The dance. I'd have a date for the dance, for the Under the Sea dance, and also maybe we can save her life. And so that's what he does. And so she goes from being a disgusting pickled scab to actually kind of a hot girl with a sexy ridge forehead. I don't think we've ever seen what a Vidiian looks like before, but I'll tell you, it was doing it for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was into it. And our first, what do you call it, problem in the show?
Inciting
Maria.
incidents. Conflict.
First conflict. There you go. Thanks.
First contact.
For our first conflict in this episode is that the Doctor needs some Klingon brain because Klingon brain works good with Vidiian brain, and if he wants to try to save, her name, by the way, is Dinara. If he wants to try to save Dinara, he wants a little bit of B'Elanna's brain. And at first she's all like, hell no, I'm not giving that phage fiend my brain cells. I need those. And Dinara, let me try again.
Ooh.
Dinara, instead of being... Oh god, that would be like a Tuvix episode, except it would be B'Elanna and Dinara.
Good God, the forehead. It would be so huge.
God, huge. It'd be fucking 6 head. We go right over 5 head and just get right into 6.
Be like if Marge Simpson actually had like
Oh my God,
head
if her whole
under
head was that
all
shape?
the hair.
Oh, I
It's gotten
hate it.
really
Thanks,
weird.
I fucking hate it. But she's like, listen, I understand that what you went through was terrible, and if you don't want to do it, I'd understand. And Torres is like, okay, fine, you're nice. I guess I'll help you out. So she does, and they do. And it's pretty obvious right from the get-go. Dinara, first of all, is really excited because she looks really pretty, and people are noticing her. The doctor takes her to whatever that creepy bar is. Thank you, to Sandrine's. And everybody's hitting on her and shit, and she's obviously kind of into that, which, I mean, I don't blame her. If I had looked like a tumor for however long, I'd be really excited as well. But she's also clearly jonesing for the doctor, which is awkward because she decides to help him figure out a new name, and she decides to name him Schmullis after her uncle, ... who always made her smile and laugh, ... I don't know, I found it a little weird. Anyway, the doctor starts feeling some feelings, and he has a little heart-to-heart with Kes, and Kes is like, well, just tell her how you feel. And the doctor's like, okay, and he does it during a routine check of her optical whatevers. I don't know. It was really awkward and Bad timing.
I think you mean hilarious.
No, it just felt awkward. Like, I mean, I saw what they were doing, guys. Oh, man. Well, all right. That's okay. We'll get into it. Anyway, the long story short, too late, is that the doctor and Dinara are totally in love, and it's beautiful and sweet and nice. But Dinara decides she does not want to go back to her gross body, so she's like, tries to poison herself. And she and the doctor have a long heart-to-heart, wherein the doctor talks her into staying and fighting for her real life, and he professes his love for her, and it's really sweet, and Caitlin had a misty eye, and it was beautiful. The B-plot seems to be that, like, Tom Paris is still being a ding-dong and not doing his job, so Chakotay is like, well, fine, I'll just replace you with someone else at the bridge if you don't want to do your work, bitch. And I think that's basically it. Is that the whole episode?
Yeah, and I think
we hear
still
from
see
our little traitor.
Yeah, that dick.
Old Joni. Oh, the old Jonas brother.
Oh, man.
The forgotten Jonas brother.
I hope that they keep him going for many episodes to come. I think his story has been really interesting, and I look forward to seeing how it turns out for him.
Yikes.
But first, this episode.
So okay, speaking of how uninteresting Jonas is, this man, his actor, has the misfortune of always being uninteresting, because I only found out today he is the voice of Kaiden Alenko, the least interesting Mass Effect squad member.
Oh, yeah. I let him die.
Yeah, no, that's the correct choice. He's awful.
Basically, was who do I want to die? This guy, definitely.
But yeah, no, he turns out he's been in a shitload of Star Wars video games, and he was in Mass Effect.
Star Wars is interesting sometimes.
But yeah, no, I was looking him up because I was like, this guy's face is actually kind of familiar. And it turns out, no, it isn't. I haven't seen any of the other live action stuff he's been in.
It just turns out that that's how he looks. He looks like an annoying, boring creature like Caden.
Yeah, to be entirely fair, and this is jumping only a little bit ahead, but in investigations, when we're talking with Jonas over here and Hogan over here, I lost track of which one was which.
Hogan has a much rounder head and, as Caitlin pointed out, quite large eyes.
Dude, the biggest eyes I've legit ever seen. Humongous eyes.
I feel like just having two very generic-looking guys with the light sandy hair, both ex-Maquis, both in engineering, both in the same scene. I got face blind really fast.
Yeah.
But that's jumping only a little ahead.
Raphael Sbarge.
Good name.
Better than Schmullis.
I was shocked though, because he's not even Canadian. Which,
wow.
Because BioWare is a Canadian company, and I'm pretty sure
he looks so damn Canadian.
Well, it's just because
I would have pegged him for Quebecois. Jesus.
So if you let him live in the third game, and you do the party DLC, they go on a lot about how Canadian he is.
Oh, we're talking Jonas now. I thought we were talking Hogan again. My bad.
Sorry, no, Jonas.
Again, I cannot tell them apart.
And in the fact that BioWare is a Canadian company and has a lot of Canadian voice actors in the game, it's funny that this character is, in fact, American. But yeah, he's just one of many Star Trek alumni to have appeared in that series, which we can now stop talking about because I realized this was a hell of a tangent.
Yeah, I mean,
tangent.
Honestly, I stopped listening.
I think my first note here was, God, I'm getting so bored of this Tom subplot. And then later in the notes, I'm even more bored of this Jonas subplot. I want them to end right now.
But they're the same subplot, we find out next week.
Again, jumping ahead, but ugh.
Well, that's a problem.
Yeah,
like,
I'm like fairly convinced that they filmed all of the Jonas scenes on like one day.
yeah.
You know, all the scenes of him talking to the Kazon, and then all of the Tom bits. I feel like those must have just been filmed completely separately and were just inserted into episodes later because they're never particularly relevant
Not at all.
to the episode at hand. It's just like,
No.
oh, let's plop in the scene where Tom punches Chakotay here.
Look, it's a little bit serial, like DS9. It's so not doing it right.
Man,
guys.
they're dipping the toes into the serialized story, like because they fucked it up. Because it's not, you know, they just randomly placed bits of this plot in different episodes without tying anything together.
Yeah, no, and it's like,
Or
I mean, that's the-
building in any way.
While I was watching this episode, you know, obviously, like, not all my complaints, but my major complaints were like, you know, you get to the next one and it's like, oh, really? Oh, Christ, that was even worse somehow. But I've just, for the past few weeks, I've been like, I mean, I get that Tom had this really fucked up experience, but I'm not enjoying that they've decided this is how he's reacting to it.
Yeah.
And instead
you
it's
learn.
like, oh, yeah. Well, especially because in this one, at one point, he's like bitching at Chakotay about like, you know, remember that time when you did that thing that wasn't actually in an episode, but we're going to mention it? And it's like, you couldn't have found an actual event from an actual episode he could have bitched about? Like,
Remember that time you didn't laugh when I made a racist comment about your people, about how you should be able to turn into a bird? That really cut me, Chakotay.
the worst part is I think he did.
Yeah, I know.
He did
I
make
know.
that comment, but at
No,
the
he
same
means
time he
Chakotay
also
laughed.
rescued Chakotay, so
Yeah.
I guess Chakotay couldn't like bitch later, like, huh, that was pretty insensitive, Tom.
I mean, is there a
Tom's like,
statute
you want
of
me to put your
limitations?
back on that bridge, you fuck.
Yeah. But
I
that,
couldn't, yeah, and the other problem I have with the whole Tom thing, especially like in this episode, is Tom is involved in the main plot of this episode, and he's not an asshole.
right.
He's being nice. He's helping out the doc.
Yeah, he shows the
So
doc
it's-
the car that he likes to bone women in.
Oh,
like-
Oh, I
This
hope
whole-
he
this-
fucking hosed it down first. Jesus.
Well, it's a hollow car, you know. We turn off the holodeck, it all just falls on the floor.
Oh.
Wow, yeah, that's... Ew.
I think I've said this before, but the holodeck better have just like a Gattaca-style cleaning program.
Oh, I was gonna say
sure
like
it
an
is.
oven, but
Yeah.
yes. Self-clean. Oh god, burn it with fire.
But yeah, no, you're right. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, it's so at odds with like, I've been a jerk for a few months, unless you're the doctor on the holodeck with me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, where
Then
I'm
I'll
being
get-
a
then I'll
genuinely
help you
good
get
dude.
hooked up. Yeah. So things about this episode, I like. You know, we're getting more doctor development because I like
Yep.
the doctor, and that's nice. Things I don't like about this episode, the doctor's so fucking selfish.
Oh, yeah.
At the end, when he's like, when she's
Oh,
like,
at the
I
end,
live a
not the whole time.
I live a horrible existence, and I just want to die. Just help me die, Doc. Because, like, if you put me back in that fucking disgusting, decrepit, decaying body, I'm just going to be suffering forever. And even longer because you gave me some special Klingon brain.
Listen.
So now my suffering is prolonged even more.
We
So just let me die. Let me die as I want to in this form, healthy and loved. And he's like, no, I want to bang you for 2 more weeks, and then we're going to dump you on your shit planet and go off.
Well,
So fuck you.
Listen, we selflessly let someone commit suicide last week. There'll be no more selfless suicides on our watch.
I mean, is it really? I mean, I guess it is a suicide, but I don't know. I kind
Well,
of feel
see,
like
it's
just
interesting.
being like, okay, I accept your decision to not go back into your shit body.
Well, it's interesting too because it's like, you know, again, last week was explicitly a suicide scenario. This could almost have been read as a DNR,
Mm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
but
Yeah, and she's able to actually tell you DNR because her brain waves are still floating around.
yeah,
But doctors all like, Hippocratic Oath, Hippocratic Oath.
But it's not even Hippocratic Oath, because part of the Hippocratic, maybe it's not, but I'm pretty sure that part of the doctor code of ethics is if somebody declines treatment, you have to respect that.
Yeah, morally,
Like-
you're really not supposed to fuck with
like
that.
you can't, yeah. If somebody explicitly says, do not treat me, you can't.
yeah. I
But
kind
the
of
fact that the reason that he, like, it's not even, like, he even explicitly says that the only reason he wants her to not die is because he wants to spend more time with her.
Well, being fair, he is a computer.
Shit computer,
And
man.
also, to be fair, he is a guy, which means he is inherently selfish.
So-
Sorry.
the other thing is I don't know anything about DNRs, but like I know anyone can sort of apply for one, but is it like, when you sign up for one, is a doctor required to like...
Oh, yeah, it's binding.
No, what I mean though is, are they required when you say, I'd like to do a DNR, do they have to sit you down like, okay, we really have to talk about this, or do they just have to go, sure?
I don't think...
Like, I know once it's signed, yes, it's binding, but...
I don't even think a doctor has to be involved. I think it's a power of attorney or a notary thing.
Okay.
I feel like I helped someone with a DNR once when I was a notary.
That's right.
Or with a power of attorney, I should say, so that if someone would have the right to not have a parent resuscitated if they weren't in a good place to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the argument his logic circuits could make, even though really this wasn't a logical thing, was that I'm sure she didn't have a DNR on file. And also she did actively fuck with her own treatment, which is weird. Again, normally the patient can't do that.
Well, but I mean, it's similar to if you, let's say you were a cancer patient and you overdosed on morphine on purpose. I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah, or if you're supposed to take medication and, you fake it and spit it out.
Yeah.
And I think well, wait, let me rephrase. The only time that I think that this is not the case is if you're like in a mental institution, they can make you take your medicine, but that's because they don't think that you are
of sound mind,
like fit to make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate part, is that them telling you have to do what you have to do, but arguably it might be better than letting someone who doesn't have the right frame of mind make the choice. I don't know. Yeah. It's a whole other morally ambiguous question.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the whole, And that's the thing, though, is like the minute she, realized she was a hologram and saw her normal body, it's like, oh, she's not going to want to go back.
Yeah, you called it, too, when she, when all of a sudden her levels went bad. Chris was like, did she do it? And I was like, oh, no!
See, this is why, the Dr. Soong technology is so important. And
why, he should have just made her look like Brent Spiner?
I think we all would have been pretty happy. We all would have been happy with
like
that.
Brent Spiner. I mean, there was Juliana, and she looked like a normal person.
Oh, that kind of technology is what you're saying.
Yeah,
the whole
where you
download
a living person into a positronic.
Yeah, but for all everybody knows at this point, Dr. Soong was not able to do any of that ever, and all this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, they also don't have a positronic brain on board Voyager.
Yeah, and apparently the only people that can make them are Soongs.
Soong relatives.
There's some special sauce in those Soong fingertips.
I like to imagine that if you go far enough back in the Soong family tree before they started all being the same person, that one of Data's ancestors is Willy Wonka.
That seems right.
I thought you were about to say Marty McFly.
Speaking
Why
of
Willy
doctors,
Wonka? I missed this.
Because I don't know, Dr. Soong makes me think of Willy Wonka.
It makes a weird kind
similar characters.
Yeah, it makes a weird kind of sense.
Chaotic neutral thing going on, or something. Maybe not neutral. I don't know. Did you all notice the shout out to doctors of Star Trek's past? By the way, when we talked about the technique that he was using to work on her brain, that was created or whatever by Leonard McCoy.
Yeah, and it would have been before any of the timeline of TOS, so you don't really get to know what it was.
Oh, really? I assumed it was the, noticed it but didn't pay attention.
They said the date was like the 50s or something.
See, I assumed it was the Spock's brain.
Well, that was like transplanting a brain.
And it was something he couldn't do once he didn't have the magic hat on.
Yeah, they needed the magic and that equipment.
Yeah. Speaking of doctors, all episode long, I just kept writing notes wow, the EMH is basically Bashir level of cocky and self-important, and Data level of doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But somehow, where when Bashir did it, it was annoying and creepy. I was not annoyed and creeped out by the Doctor. It just seemed more like I was getting more of the Data side of things, and and I think that combo made it more an endearing trait than an annoying trait.
Yeah, you're just because he's you just go he's a computer. And again, I know I mentioned this a while ago a couple times, but the fact that his arc compared to Data's is he's not interested in being more human, and now in this one we see him actively trying to resist it even. It's like, oh, your program's adapting. Well, I don't fucking want to. I don't like these feelings.
Love is hard, Doctor. It's it's tricky. Yeah. Also, like, he's been taking so fucking long to give himself a name that I thought to myself, this is how, even though our cats, as we've mentioned, our cats have names. We have named them Darmok and Jalad. We never call them Darmok and Jalad because it took so long for us to name them that we only ever call them the black cat and the white cat. Well, and that's what's gonna happen with the Doctor.
Well, we had a cat who had been found by Caitlin's parents, and they were like, well, we want to let Caitlin name her. Uh-oh. And she was formally eventually named Penelope, after, I believe, Odysseus' wife, right? Mm-hmm. But she had 1,000 nicknames. I just called her Cat. Mm-hmm. Like, no one ever called her Penelope, practically.
I tried to, but it was like fetch, just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
Cats don't really have need of names. They don't give a fuck.
No, yeah, dude, Barnabas knows his name already. He knows his name. Every time I say Barnabas, he looks right up. He knows exactly what his name is.
He looks up and says, that again?
Oh, yeah. He doesn't respond to it, but every time I say it, he looks. He knows it's him.
Oh, there's that noise you make every time you want to touch me.
Well, that's good enough for me. But no, science has proven they do know the names. They just don't care.
But yeah, I have decided that even though I know this is not canonically it, his name is Schmuller Schweitzer. Get a nice alliteration going on.
Yeah.
I know we never hear Schmollis again, I don't actually we might hear it in like, because I think we referenced Denarapel in the future.
Oh.
But I think the name might come up again, but I don't think we have named the Doctor yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is, and if it's not, it might be explicitly mentioned as well, but I feel like the idea is that it's traumatic for him to use that name.
Yeah, just like Schweitzer.
Yeah, like that. Every time he gets a name, there ends up being a reason for him to not want to keep it.
Yeah, it's always a pretty girl that names him, and then she dies.
And in both cases, a hologram, sort of. I mean, the first time only a hologram, the second time Man, so it could be like a revolutionary medical procedure, huh? Like, I know she had that special doodad that not everyone else would have.
Yeah, why can't everybody else have that?
Well, first you have to develop the doodad.
Yeah, that's true.
But that was one thing that was kind of weird to me, is like the Vidiians apparently have fucking magic level medical technology, but never made holograms.
Well, they put all of their points into
medicine. You're right. That's exactly what it is. Well, what's interesting...
Go ahead.
Sorry. I think we're both about to say the same thing.
I wonder if it is. Let's find out. Probably not.
Well, just like we've kind of like... I was always under the impression before this episode that just... all Vidiians have the phage.
Yep,
and
I
apparently,
have the same thought.
There are healthy Vidiians. And it sounds like it's almost like a leper colony kind of thing going on, where they keep the ill separated from the well. But considering how virulent it is, how much it spreads, like, it feels like the amount of healthy Vidiians is probably very small.
Yeah, and lower every day when others catch it.
Yeah.
Only the ones in District 1 don't have it.
That, the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so that was interesting, giving them an extra layer of something. Like, there is, in theory, somewhere just a civilization beyond just the sort of marauding medical pirates.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know more about that, how that society is structured.
Yeah.
Yeah, even, like, we only glean things about Denarapel's, like, past. We know that she got the phage when she was 7 and had to kind of, like, not have friends anymore.
Yeah.
And we know that she is a physician, specifically I think it's a hematologist. Blood doctor.
Yep.
But we don't quite know what that means to a Vidiian, because we know, like, their other doctors are mostly organ harvesters.
Yeah. Like, it sounds like there's maybe... not legitimate, because again, their government is very happy with the work the organ harvesters are doing. But there's like the physicians who will organ harvest and the ones who try to do more traditional ethical medicine.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really address, like, we don't, like, I wondered, like, how much of this is Denara's face versus some poor schlub's face. How much of her organs are some poor schlub's organs? We don't really address it.
That was one thing. It's like, yeah, her actual body is still pretty fucked up, but it is, she is the least fucked up Vidiian we've yet seen, because,
she has to be a pretty lady.
Exactly.
Because we couldn't we could have, but they chose not to have her be actually repulsive.
Yeah, like, the bad side of her face was nasty, but her good side wasn't that bad.
Yeah, she wasn't a melting candle like the other Vidiians we've met.
It also seems like, I mean, we have seen people being turned into Romulans, people being turned into Cardassians, into Klingons. Why isn't cosmetic surgery an option? If like, it seemed like she was really hung up on the appearance versus like the health issue.
I imagine that the way the phage works, like, anything you do would get eaten.
It just melts right off within days.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's almost pointless at that stage. Plus, even with plastic surgery, like, there needs to be healthy tissue there first for you to fuck with.
Well, we don't know how it works in the future, because, like,
True,
they just
true.
build up, like, head ridges and shit out of nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, someone on the Memory Alpha made the comment saying, like, this is basically the inverse of what happens at the end of The Cage, in which Vina decides to stay and be pretty and do the thing, whilst Dinara does eventually at the end accept, okay, I'll take the shitty body and keep living and see if maybe life is worth it. Let's do a dance.
But
the dance was super
She
cute.
really made that decision under heavy pressure from the outside.
Yeah.
I feel like if it were truly up to her and if the doctor wasn't there thirsting, she probably would have chosen to die.
Yeah.
She wanted to get that dance in.
Save the last dance.
Oh, I mean,
And of course, like, because the episode ends right there,
Yeah.
we don't see, presumably off screen, they just dumped her off on her planet.
Yeah.
That was the idea.
Way.
Not sure when, because I think they said they were like 2 weeks out when they first gave like a reference, so maybe they danced for 2 weeks.
Maybe.
Horizontally.
I just don't get why she couldn't just stay on board.
You don't have to pay an extra actor and do that makeup every week have it degrade.
I'm just saying that if she asked, I'm sure they would have been like, sure, you can stay.
They took Neelix and Cass.
Well, yeah.
Exactly.
She wants to
And she's
try
more
to help.
useful. She would actually be a real live doctor, you know?
Yeah, she's a physician.
That's
Well,
what
yeah,
she does the magic physician work.
She wants to.
Go ahead, Chris.
She wants to go back and try to help her people.
No,
I
she
guess.
doesn't. She said she didn't. She was like, I'd rather fucking die than go hang out with those gross losers. That's what I heard her say.
If she's going to live, she wants to try to help her people.
No, she doesn't. Don't make up lies.
Oh, I didn't realize. Did any of you recognize the actress playing Dinara Pell?
Okay,
Yeah.
I thought she looked familiar, but I could not tell you why.
Okay, I don't know if you'll have. I don't know if this will be the answer why, but we have seen her before, way back in Silicon Avatar. She was the woman Riker was trying to plow who got eaten by the crystalline entity.
Oh.
Wow. I didn't recognize her from that, but holy
No.
shit. That was
we
1,000
didn't see her
years
for
ago.
Very long.
God damn. It's always fun when they pull weird little things like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially because I wouldn't have recognized her anyway.
You know.
I was a little bit confused about how the whole brain thing was working. So was her whole brain in the computer? Like,
kind of what I thought, but it sort of seemed like it was more like an external hard drive that they strapped in there to back her up.
Yeah, that's what I kind of understood. But...
so like when she transferred back, did they have to then download her brain back from the computer into her?
No, dude, they just copied it. What are we, heathens?
Or was it, because at first I was like, oh, is it like just linking her brain, her body in her body on the operating table? It's just like linking her brain to the computer.
Oh, maybe
But all her actual cognitive functions are still happening in her brain.
That makes a little bit of sense, because when the doctor says, like, if your body dies, you're gonna die here too. Like, I can't have you constantly on because your
Die in
body
the
is
game.
withering away.
Yeah.
I see.
Also, what's up with Klingons and not wanting to do donations of tissue and blood?
Well, I mean, I feel like Worf didn't really have a good reason aside from, like, cultural bias, but in B'Elanna's defense, she kind of had a traumatic medical event thanks to Vidiians previously.
Yeah, after that, I was wondering why we were even helping Dinara in the first place.
Because she's hot.
Oh.
Oh, duh.
Because also Starfleet and will always help, even jerks.
Well, I mean, this also kind of goes back to there's a bit of, I think there's like a selection bias because all of the Vidiians we have seen so far have been assholes.
Yeah.
And gross.
And well, yes, but we have only seen like the body snatcher versions of Vidiians.
Right.
So that may, and now we have seen one that isn't a body snatcher and seems to have some sense of ethics.
Yeah.
So, the fact that it's clearly not a monoculture, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like, there are, because they could have just made it so that, okay, Vidiians are just straight up villains. And every time we see a Vidiian, they're going to be trying to steal your bones.
To make their bread.
And lungs.
Really not sympathetic at all.
But, in this case, we've and this is like one of the few times that we see, I think, well, I guess they kind of did it with Ferengi, but where we see an alien species that's not a monoculture, which I appreciate.
Yeah. Well, even a few weeks ago, like, they didn't make them less of a monoculture, but we got a better understanding of the Kazon's motivation a few
More
weeks
depth.
ago.
It's true, yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I can see why you're distrustful of people and kind of PO'd and doing what you do. I get it. Those people sucked. And they were your example of people for too long.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the line, "You're not ugly, you're simply ill." I was like, oh, that's weirdly romantic.
Yeah.
A lot of those lines were really romantic. He talks
Yeah.
about how you think I'm going to love you a little less because you've got a little schmeckus.
Schmullus.
I'm
Yeah,
Schmullus.
sorry, schmullus.
That does sound like a name for a kitten.
Ah.
Little schmullus.
Aw.
See, this is why I'm going to
Schmullus.
bring home another kitten. You name him Schmullus.
No.
Yes. You just
Schmullus
said.
Schweitzer.
Come on, you guys all heard him. That was basically tacit permission.
I heard it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
See?
Final note I wanted to make, and this is backtracking a little to the Tom plot, but when Tom is sentenced to the brig, I loved Harry's look of disappointment.
Yeah.
Harry was like, Tom, no!
I mean, I feel like we've all been there too, where like, well, maybe not, but sometimes you'll have a friend who does something stupid and it's this weird mix of like, come on, man, like, we're kind of a unit, and like, I feel stupid on your behalf because right now you don't have the sense to. And also, like, yeah, he's also just like, great, now who am I gonna talk to at lunch?
Now who's going to try to make me go on dates I don't want to go on with girls who I don't want to date?
Also, I mean, Tom talks
doctor.
about next, like, what an asshole he's been for the past few months. I would say the biggest asshole move he pulled was in this episode, when during lunch in the mess hall, he was sitting alone at like an 8-person table. It's like, fucker, there are 2 tops open. Take one of them.
That was some entitlement there.
It really was.
Maybe he had been dining with other people and then they left. You don't know. You don't know what happened.
Nah, it was part of the scheme. He's like, I'm going to do that thing everyone hates.
I bet he fucking man spreads too.
I mean, I have to say, decking Chakotay might have been pushing it a little far, but I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Man.
Yeah, do you think afterwards Janeway was like, Tom, what the hell? And he's like, I wanted it to be believable. Everybody knows I'm a hothead.
So in this one, I guess this will sort of be part of the segue, but like, I fucking loved how Jonas is starting to get cold feet. Like, I don't want to hurt. It's like, what did you think you were doing?
Yeah,
Well,
no kidding.
I don't mind telling you stuff, but I don't want to like tamper with things. It's like, dude,
Well, you put it best.
what did I say?
Yeah, you were like, I mean, you're already committing treason. What do you like?
Yeah.
Like,
I only wanted to get in for a little light treason.
I mean,
I didn't want anybody to get hurt.
Maquis, so
yeah, but like, what the?
I'd expect him to have more of a stomach for
the
treason in
hor-
that case.
The horse has left the stable on the whole treason thing.
But like, what did he think the end game
I thought
was?
they were planning a surprise party.
Like, what a fucking moron!
I thought they wanted to make sure that Chakotay was at the baby shower. I didn't know they wanted me to disable weaponry.
that actually is pretty. I love that idea that's how they bamboozled him. Oh, but yeah, like fucking, it really like couple of spies on his ship and a complete fucking moron apparently in the form of Jonas here. Chakotay really just did not have the best crew.
Yeah, let's learn more about them.
How
as we move on
was
to
Seska able to
investigations.
trick me? Bitch, everyone is tricking you. Literally everyone
Tom
here.
just tricked him, but we'll get into that.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that sounds like my cue. In investigations, oh man, the fucking subheading for the start of this was like, thanks, I hate it. We open on Neelix being like, I'm gonna sell you some propaganda about how great life is on the ship. And I'm gonna feature cooking and interviews and all kinds of stuff, and it's just gonna be swell, swell, swell.
Yeah.
I wanted to see the juggler.
I was gonna say, we didn't even get to see any goddamn juggling.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. But yeah, so Neelix is playing intrepid girl detective, or journalist today. So he's poking his nose where it doesn't belong. Gets him into a whole mess of trouble. And a fist fight, which I never thought we would see. It was fucking epic, actually. But yeah, he's doing a new show every day where you get to hear about all the good stuff happening on Voyager and hopefully help you dull the sense of loss and sadness knowing you'll never see your family again. On one day after his filming, he gets a call from one of his other, what is he? I almost said Tellarites. What are they? Talaxian? His Talaxian friend. I think I need glasses. What does that say? Axolotl? Laxith. He gets a call from his buddy. His buddy Axolotl calls him up. His buddy Laxith calls up and is like, oh, hey, chum. I just wanted to get in touch because we know one of your friends is coming to our ship and we just wanted to give you a heads up that we were ready to go. And Neelix is like, what? And it's kind of what I was like, too. I literally, like, slapped Chris in the leg. It was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, oh my god, Paris? Paris is gonna leave? And that's the plan. Paris is leaving. He's finally had enough of Chakotay's shit, and he's packing up and going away, so we think. And in, like, a really overblown, unnecessary act, like, Neelix does this video montage about how great Tom is, and we hardly knew thee. And I just kind of feel like that was what made me realize it really wasn't going to stick, because they, like, never, ever say goodbye to anybody. Tasha Yar, well, actually, I guess Tasha kind of got a thing. And we could never, ever stop being followed around by that weird little hologram bookmark that Data made of her. But anyway, the point is, it was so over the top that I was like, there's no way this is real, but go on. Moments after Tom leaves, the Talaxian ship that he's on board is attacked by the Kazon, and they don't steal shit. No, they don't take any... No,
they steal some shit.
Whatever shit Paris is full of?
No, I just meant Tom, but yes.
Oh, yeah, well, he's the big shit.
It's funnier in my
But
head.
yeah, no cargo, no gold-pressed latinum, nothing. Just a Tom Paris. And deliver him right into Seska's hands, who is looking extremely pregnant. In less than a month, Chakotay is gonna be a father. Get the fuck out of here, Seska, you creep. I just feel like making it sound like, oh, he's gonna be a proud papa. It's like, bitch, you stole his semen and implanted it in yourself. You're disgusting. But anyway, sure, let's just keep talking about
probably
this
Jonas's
weird space rape. But anyhow, Seska's like, you could work with us and it'll be great. And I know you've always, you were just playing at being their good little boy. And wouldn't you rather hang out with us and whatever? And Tom's like, no deal. But while he's there, he starts sniffing around to see if, I believe it was to see if he could figure out who had been selling them out. Because they, surprise, surprise, they knew that they had a mole, Jonas. Not really surprising. You don't feel like he's the most subtle creature. And he just has a face that looks like he's guilty all the time, to be honest. So, big teeth.
Also, they've literally shown us him being guilty for weeks.
They've shown us Jonas. True. But we're not the only ones who are onto Jonas. Neelix figures him out with a lot less to go on. He finds out that there's, like, holes in the, I don't even know, subspace frequency something or others. And he tracks it down, but he thinks, because of what he's tracked down, that Paris was the turncoat all along, because they've been signed like Love Tom and coming from his bedside desk and shit. But that was all a trick. And as soon as they realize that Neelix is onto what's going on, Janeway and Tuvok have to pull him in and be like, listen, this is a sting operation. How did you find this? What's going on? And that's how they nail it down that it's Jonas, and they get Paris back. And I feel like there's something I'm forgetting, but I don't care.
We kill the fuck out of Jonas.
Yeah.
Oh, right. That was fucking great.
Neelix
and
vaporizes him.
And Jonas almost killed Neelix with like a screwdriver or whatever, which was like, at first when he pulled it up, I was like, what is with this really tiny little bitch phaser? And then it was like, zip, zip, and I was like, oh, it's like a welding thing. It's like a soldering iron or something.
It's just a glue gun.
Surprised they don't have like little like Derringer phasers.
They have
Just
like
pops down your the sleeve of your uniform. Pew!
Yeah.
They got the noisy cricket from Men in Black. Get thrown across the
you
room
could really
every time
destroy
you use it.
the ship with that thing. But yeah, Jonas and Neelix get into an epic fight, and Neelix does some motherfucking Aikido and uses his momentum to throw him into a fucking pit
Yeets him into a fucking fire.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like, let's talk about this. Like, he threw that motherfucker to his death, and I am impressed.
I mean,
well, let's also...
he kind of threw himself to his death. I mean, Neelix,
Yeah.
all Neelix would have had to have done is sidestepped, and we probably would have got more or less the same effect.
Oh yeah, but you could totally, like, he could have found a way to, like, grab him and throw him to the floor, and Neelix was like, nope, you're going into the green pit of vaporization, and I respect that.
Listen, I think we were
Now,
all sick
what
of Jonas.
was the green
Neelix actually
pit
has
of
to spend time with him.
vaporization? Because...
Plasma?
Like, it appeared when it was most convenient in just the middle of engineering.
So,
Wait,
Jake, can you repeat? I'm sorry.
Yeah, so what, I don't understand what exactly happened to Jonas. It's like when they were writing the script, they're like, and then Neelix kills him.
Yeah, they
didn't
threw
leave any
him.
instructions.
Jake, that was the plot hole that he threw him into.
yeah, because they're having this fight in engineering. It's a fist fight, and then suddenly there's a giant fire in the middle of the room.
Like I said, it's plasma, because plasma's green, and it was a green fire,
But it
Well,
was like it was just
didn't
on
they
the
say-
middle of the floor.
Didn't they say that he was, like, damaging the warp core something or other? Is it possible that was supposed to be the warp core? Like, I don't know a
No,
lot
it was
about...
on the other side. It was like in the middle of the room. It would have made way more sense if if like the warp core started making fire and he threw him at that. But
oh, you know what it was? The septic system blew.
there you go.
That was
He's
just...
actually not dead. Like that at the end of
He's
the
just
episode,
covered in
you're
poop.
meant to think he died. But like Neelix is like, oh,
That
not
is
so good for Jonas.
that is
Oof.
the vent above Neelix's stove.
Yeah, Jonas is like,
Same as the septic system.
Jonas wishes he was fucking dead after that.
Yeah.
So do we all.
Okay, so who do you think,
Paris.
like, is more justified in, as I would like to put it, well, it wasn't Chakotay or the poor Talaxians?
What was the thing you
Well,
just said?
I have no idea what the fuck you just said.
The grifter episode of The Simpsons where everyone sets up this big elaborate scheme to teach Homer and Bart a lesson. And it was like, wow, so the whole town was in on it. Except, Willie, who was up for
Willie
murder.
wasn't.
Yeah.
I did not understand a thing you just said.
Sorry, yeah. So they didn't tell Chakotay, which is kind of shitty. But they also didn't tell the Talaxians, knowing full well and hoping that they would get attacked by the Kazon. Wow, that's awful.
Dude, consider that the only Talaxian they know is the most annoying motherfucker they've ever met. I'm sorry.
That doesn't justify it.
we should kill them all.
Side point, I think it's sad that Harry wasn't involved because we never even got a good goodbye between Harry and Tom. If Harry
True.
thought Tom was actually leaving,
Yeah.
it was so disappointing that it was just like, oh, well, bye.
I guess that's
That's
really how you
it?
know. That's
was
really
so-
how you know it wasn't real.
Harry was so heartbroken that he actually asked for that part of the show to just remain private. We were supposed to get that scene, but
He actually he laid in bed weeping, but like with his clarinet in his mouth, so it was just making the weirdest noises.
Wow. Oh, it's the whale call from 4.
I'm imagining the captions to say sad clarinet sound.
But yeah, like, god
Um,
damn, those poor Talaxians.
Yeah, man. I really dislike this episode, and I'm gonna rant for a bit.
It's
so
fairly
excuse me.
high
Go for
rated.
it.
It's got a lot of actual, like, really good responses online because people really love, like, action Neelix, and they love seeing Paris kind of get redeemed for the shit that he was doing.
what
But
do fans of this fucking show know? Please.
Well, let's find out, because Jake is a fan of this show.
Go ahead.
I was planning to rant.
Do the rant now,
on, Jake. I can't wait.
Rant blue balls.
With that context, rant.
Yeah, so everything, I hate everything about this. So for one, I hate that they did this setup, but they did it in the most lazy, half-assed, copy-paste scenes into previous episodes to give the illusion of a multi-episode arc, which it wasn't. I hate that they didn't, for exactly what Chris said, that they didn't tell Chakotay and they didn't tell the fucking Talaxians, who just like by the grace of God didn't get killed.
Yep.
Because even Neelix is like, no Talaxian would betray, would have told the Kazon about Tom, because that would be suicide, because it would be. So that's fucked up. I hate that Neelix figured out the whole fucking plot all by himself and knew who the fucking killer was, basically, and didn't have to sacrifice potentially Tom's life. Didn't have to go through this whole elaborate Romulan-esque fucking bullshit plot, and basically made Tuvok look like a goddamn chump in terms of the police investigation.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Neelix! And then, having this whole thing with Tom, even just Tom on the Kazon ship, right? It's like they fucking lazily wrote some, like, okay,
I got notes on that.
Ship.
I got notes on that,
He's gonna be on the ship, and he's gonna fucking fight them to escape, but he won't get Seska. He'll just kill a couple of randos, and then cut the scene, and then the next shot we have is of a shuttle flying away from the Kazon ship, so presumably they have as lax security as
anyone can
Starfleet.
Escape, because we saw Chakotay escape a Kazon ship, because it's real fucking easy, guys.
And then like the shuttle is clearly too slow to escape, so they're with him the whole time.
Yep.
So their weapons are such bullshit, they can't even blow up one of their own shuttles on an extremely low-speed chase, firing at it the entire time. They evidently don't have a tractor beam or even, I don't know, a fucking harpoon to reel it back in. And like, it's unbelievable to me how fucking stupid this whole thing is. And, Tom just manages to get the word out, oh, it's Jonas, but it doesn't fucking matter because Neelix already figured out and everybody already knows it's Jonas basically at that point.
And we've killed him already.
Why was there's no fucking reason for
the gunpowder
engineering to be
treason
completely
to ever be
abandoned,
Not
right?
at
Like
all.
we always see like a dozen people in engineering. We know that they were trying to fix the warp engine, so presumably there's a bunch of people doing that. But you have fucking Jonas Brothers and Hulk Hogan are the only two people keeping down the fucking fort in engineering. Neelix comes in. And then, like, it's just Jonas. Why wouldn't that ever happen?
Well, you gotta understand.
If there's only one person.
I hope
You
he
gotta
gets his
understand.
spin-off show. It's just Jonas.
It was Fred's birthday, so all the other engineers were in the mess hall having cake.
They were getting their peptide peptide icing.
But that's bullshit, because if that were true, Neelix would be in there.
They didn't
baking
tell
with awful cake.
They didn't tell him. They used replicator rations.
Yeah.
And Hogan was
That's how
told.
you show someone you really love them on their birthday. You don't subject them to Neelix cake.
And then Hogan was
That
told
cake looked good.
that the Warrior was on the line wanting to arrange another rumble. So he
Yikes.
had to deal with that.
Can I tell you guys some of the backstory of this episode?
Oh, please do.
All right, so the original plan that they wanted to do for the
There was a plan?
the device that they'd use for this episode would be that the whole show would be from the point of view of Neelix's news program.
No, thank God it wasn't that.
Actually, I think that would have been a lot fucking better, honestly.
Yeah?
I think that
Fucking
would have been
damn
a
your
lot.
mouth.
If it was, because the problem, my biggest issue with this episode, other than all the other shit I said, but I think the biggest problem, storytelling wise, is that the audience knows the whole fucking time.
No, that's all right. That's the basis of Columbo. That you can do that well.
Don't you dare compare this episode to Columbo.
I'm just saying it
Like-
could be done well. Columbo did it for years. That's all I'm saying.
To paraphrase what's his fuck, you are cowards, okay? Because
You're cowards.
Keep the puppet.
keep the puppets. They should have kept it so that fucking the audience had even an inkling that maybe Tom betrayed Voyager. You know?
So the
Because
problem...
what was the even point of having Neelix For like 10 seconds of episode, Neelix discovers that, oh my God, it was Tom because it's on his computer. Of course, the audience already knows that's bullshit. And then within 30 seconds of screen time, we're disavowed of that notion entirely when they're like, oh, it was a planted, because we already know that Jonas is guilty.
I think the twist was that Tom isn't actually a piece of shit, which the show's been showing us for so long. Kind of like in, I think it's the Enterprise incident when Kirk is being a dick for a while, so that people think he's being like a bad captain, so that when he goes over to the Romulan ship, it's believable. No one else is at fault or something weird like that.
In that episode, in the Enterprise incident, it was more believable than in this episode.
Oh, well, absolutely.
Like, I think if all the communications with the Kazon up to this point had, like, only shown the screen and, like, you hadn't really...
Ooh, if we didn't know who Deep Throat was.
Yeah, then maybe they could have tried to sell, like...
That it's maybe Tom for a hot second.
Yeah, like, maybe for a minute you're like, oh my God, what if it's this?
Oh my God. Could they use a, like, Arrow-style voice modulator, so he's like, I have the plans.
Yeah, like,
or that. But he'd sound like Majel somehow.
This ship.
Yes. But, you know, especially if you showed him even in shadow a little, like, I feel like with the right lighting...
That's just the Sela approach. We've done that.
The guy's head is kind of shaped enough like Robert Duncan McNeil's that you could have been like, oh...
I think also, the thing with it end up... Because, you know, obviously we knew the whole time it was going to be Jonas because we saw it. But also the fact that it meant that we knew Jonas as a character. You don't know Jonas as a character because he's not fucking developed fucking at all. But know that he's on the ship, at least. Yeah. You know that he's a character, so it's not just someone you've not heard of before.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Like, they could have, if they'd written it well, established him separately, you know, and just
they could have made him security chief.
Yeah.
But, you know, just had him there. He's in engineering. B'Elanna talks to him sometimes, you know. And then, oh shit, he's the traitor, not Tom. But, like, again, like Caitlin said, there is a way to already kind of to know things the characters don't and have it be satisfying, but this was not one of those cases.
This ain't it.
Actually, you know what it could have been? Instead of doing like the Deep Throat thing, you just always show the Kazon on the little laptop.
Yeah.
From the perspective of from behind the person that's using the laptop.
Yeah.
And it's not a two-way conversation. You frame it as like messages.
Yeah.
Like recordings.
You know, you have the Kazon say like, "Oh, we received your last message about the Warp 10 drive, and we're blah 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 blah."
Yeah, exactly.
Proceeding is planned with.
You know, it could just be like pre-recorded shit, and then you never have to see who the traitor is, and then we're totally faked out. We could totally believe in this episode, especially if we're seeing it through Neelix's eyes.
Yeah,
we could believe that holy shit, Tom set this whole thing up. He knew the whole going to the Talaxian ship was just a ruse because the whole intention all along was for him to hook up with his Kazon buddies.
Yep.
You know, we could buy that.
Like you said, Jake, what a Romulan level plan. Like, you're really lucky Seska decided it was worth kidnapping Tom.
Yeah.
You know, and that, what?
Maybe she wanted to say, like, oh, no, it's Tom, it's your baby now. Yeah, it's everyone's baby now.
Yes.
Damn.
Yes.
And, like, really, there was no real reason for them to kidnap Tom because they already had a plan in motion to sabotage Voyager and force them into a trap.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but they knew that Jonas was going to be bitching out, so maybe they were just trying to have a backup plan.
He didn't bitch out.
No, but he seemed like he was going to, though.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
He kind of did.
The last episode where he was like, I didn't want to hurt anybody.
I suppose in that regard, like, especially with her being Cardassian's liking backups, I could see her being like, well, Harris left. Maybe I can tan him with my wiles because I think Jonas is about to fail me.
I'm surprised she didn't try to convince him that the baby was his.
Well, the problem
is night in Sandrines, Tom?
Nope, it's a total blur.
I scooped your semen above the floor, and it's mine now.
Oh God,
no! Oh, wow, a rare one from Ames.
Done. Check it off the list.
But yes, and I did check. At least as far as whoever wrote the Memory Alpha summary is concerned. That was a burst plasma conduit that Neelix chucked Jonas into.
Under the floor, in the middle of the floor, in the most plot-convenient location for that to occur.
Yes.
Barely protected by railings.
I mean, it's kind of like how the
Can
massive...
I see it?
Good.
I mean,
Another Simpsons reference. Wow.
A few years from now, then, whatever, fucking the Sovereign class keeps its plasma conduits not even protected by floor. It's just there, ready to be shot by anyone who conveniently needs to wipe out a small Borg collective that's built up in their engine room.
Yeah, I guess so.
Spoilers?
No, because we already covered that movie.
We saw it.
Oh, okay.
Here's a question, because I wondered for a little bit, because, they're building up the Paris leaving thing, and for a hot second, I'm wondering, do people who've not seen this show and, know that Tom continues being a character, think that this was how they decided to write Robert Duncan McNeil out of the show?
I actually kind of thought it was legit for a half a second, yeah.
She was very cross that I wouldn't tell her.
I slapped him on the arm.
She did, it hurt.
Good. Just kidding, sorry.
You could have just watched the episode, Caitlin.
I did, but I needed to know now. I never made it past a 4-year-old's watching of things I haven't seen. If I know someone knows, or even if they don't know, I want to know. I want to know right now.
That is true. We have been watching shows together that are new to both of us, and she'll be like, oh my god, what happens? I'm like, I literally have no clue.
We are both watching this at the same time, Caitlin.
I have to say, though, despite the fact that I loathe most of this show, I think I did
this episode
this episode.
Okay.
Yeah. I really actually did enjoy the sort of B plot of the Doctor constantly getting Matt Damon off the show.
Yeah.
He looked so pissed. It was so fun.
I really want to know how to make my nostrils happy.
I mean, it's especially good because it's at the very beginning. It's set up that the Doctor he does a McCoy. He says, "I'm a doctor, not a performer," or whatever it is that he said. Where he's at first really down on it, but then he gets progressively more frustrated that he can't be a part of it.
Yep. Did anyone notice, by the way, that the juggler was one of the candidates to replace Tom?
I did, because it was in my book. The two books I'm reading as the background information of the episodes mostly just parrot this kind trivia shit like this back at you for oh, this was a new character. This is what they do. I was like, yeah, I saw the episode. I know. Tell me something behind the scenes, please.
I get that they wanted Harry to be sad about his friend, but it's he's so soon to replace him. It's like, Harry, someone has to fly the ship.
The ship flies itself most of the time.
Well, I mean, Paris basically did say, "Why do you even need me?"
True. It was still
stupid. Be on autopilot.
It wasn't. They weren't looking for somebody to replace Tom at the helm. They were looking for somebody to replace Tom at the Delaney sisters.
No, to replace Tom at lunchtime with Harry. Oh god, fucking Harry. So apparently he nearly caused civil war at the Academy.
Oh yeah, I was convinced that if Neelix took his reporting suggestions, that he would start war within the ship.
Seriously, I was not sure where that was going, but
nowhere.
Yeah. But yeah, I was he was like, I was editor of the paper. He's like, of course you fucking were, you nerd.
Aw.
Yeah, and what fucking journalist integrity he has when,
if they don't say it's off the record, you print that shit.
When he finds out about the fucking horrible plot that everyone has orchestrated, he doesn't, expose it. He joins it. He just we want you to convince people that you've, go do this for us, shitty journalists.
Well, because at that point he stopped being a journalist and became a spy.
Yeah.
Which I
guess is a time-honored tradition of journalists.
Yeah. He became Tom's friend, which was very nice considering how much they hated each other before.
Oh god, their little hug when he was leaving.
It was
so
cute.
Weird. It was. It's funny because there is so much wrong with everything that led up to this episode and parts of the execution, but there were parts I enjoyed Neelix getting to have a fight scene and again, straight up throw a guy into a plasma thing. But yeah, it's like Jake said, there's just so much that's wrong with it otherwise, and everything that led up to it was so bad.
I feel like this episode suffers because of the previous episodes attempting to seed it.
Yeah. And again,
that's why I was surprised people like this episode, and I'm like, but it's the culmination of all that bullshit? No, it did not pay off.
Yeah, and again, there is something ultra shitty. Okay, fine. You don't tell Chakotay, because that's a time-honored, tradition in things. It's like Sherlock Holmes.
Not telling Chakotay? Yes.
Well, you're the main character being like, sorry, I didn't tell you about my plan, Watson, but I know you're impossible to, like, lie. You're bad at faking things, so I couldn't tell you. But, like, and also, again, like, yeah, legit, yeah, we didn't entirely trust you because we thought it might be a Maquis, which, you know what, fucking fair. But to not, tell the Talaxians, which, again, I guess you couldn't, but so you've brought them into your scheme against their will without their knowing. That's pretty shitty. Yeah. Like, there's no real way to justify that. That's shitty move, guys. Shitty move. Not very Starfleet of you.
I cannot fathom how this plot was easier to execute than just putting a tap on somebody's phone to figure out who the goddamn spy was.
Or just, like, surely just change some aspect of the comm system so that you'd pick it up better or something.
Well, like, once you know that somebody's doing these covert messages, wouldn't the answer just be to monitor for those things and then
exactly
take action when you see one happening in real time?
Surely there's something they could have done with a deflector dish.
Clearly.
Always the deflector dish.
Just to reflect. They've got that secondary one. Use that to reflect signals to the warp pylon Kerferber, and it goes through the scrubbers, and it pings Tuvok.
I mean, like, Tuvok set up a thing on the transporter that one time to let him know when somebody tried to use it.
True, which you think should just be SOP, but yes.
Yeah. So, like, we know that they have some sort of system monitoring where they can just, like, put a trigger on something and you get pinged.
Yeah.
So it boggles the mind why that wasn't employed for this.
Yeah, it just, yeah.
It just seems like manufactured drama.
Exactly.
Lazy-ass writing.
Yeah.
And cowardly execution.
Yeah. It's like they decided to kind of play in the pool of serialization, but chickened out. And it's one of those little rubber kiddie pools, and it was only full, like, halfway. And then the dog got in and spilled the water everywhere. And, what a mess.
The kid had already pissed in it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Ew.
No. Absolute nightmare.
Neat. Anyway, if there's nothing else, is there anything else?
There was a lot of sitting in this episode, wasn't there?
Not really.
I'm trying to do really ham-fisted segue.
All of our amazing fans, and you're all amazing, obviously, will remember that last week we started a blogtivity all about captains' chairs, Starfleet captains and their chairs, and how they mostly just look like they were pulled out of, like, Indy cars or something. This week, we're going to finish that discussion on chairs. All right. So last week, we cut off kind of with where we are currently at in the show-ish, with all the chairs that we've seen, or at least other chairs from Voyager that we will be seeing shortly. So all of these are chairs that we haven't seen yet in our watch, but they're chairs that, you can find on the internet, or if you've seen the goddamn shows, you will recognize a lot of these chairs.
Yeah. And honestly, it's a chair. It's really not a spoiler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why I can look ahead at the chairs and not mind.
That's right.
Sharing these.
Chair goes inside the car. Spoiler goes on the back.
Hey.
That's. I kind of like that. Even
I'm
though it's
glad
sort
that
of
you
a dad
said that
joke.
because I could not think of anything. Like, I had a spoiler in my mind, but I was like, "There's no joke. I can't do it."
All right. So you can follow along and watch all these chairs with us because they're up on our Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, over in our blog section. The first chair we're looking at is going to be the first chair that we see in Enterprise, which again looks like it was ripped straight out of a racing car.
Yeah, this looks like it was ripped out of a Ford Taurus. This doesn't even look like a racing seat.
It actually, I feel like, doesn't look too dissimilar. Like, the main body kind of looks a lot like the Voyager one. They just added a somewhat different headrest and made it, they put it on a plinth and added armrests and stuff.
Yeah, the armrests are pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, looks, I was going to say, it looks like a little comfy, but then again, that one pad sticks out way further than the rest of the chair, which is strange.
Which pad?
The big sort of, like, pad, like, 3 down from the top seems to stick out.
Oh, in the back.
Yeah,
in the backrest.
Yeah, it seems to stick out way further than any other pad in the backrest, which is strange.
Yeah, I always have trouble in like movie theaters when there's like a headrest that sticks out because I'm 5'2". If you're like Jake's height, it's probably a comfortable place to put your head. But for anyone short or maybe like, kids and shit, that makes you uncomfortable the whole time you're sitting in a fucking chair.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, without getting into spoilers, there is a slight height issue with this chair, but we'll get to it.
Weird. There's another chair we see in Enterprise, and I don't remember almost any of Enterprise, so I don't know the context of where this other chair comes from, but it's the one that has, like, attachable seat belts or something?
Yeah, which, is this just the chair that, like, was in that deleted scene from,
It looks very, very much like the one from Nemesis.
It really does, yes.
A cutscene in Nemesis.
Like, I think they changed the little, like, keypads on the end, but no, actually, they didn't even do that, I think. I think they literally just used that chair, because this would have still been in production when Nemesis happened, so they probably literally just used Archer's chair.
It is hilarious when they reuse various chairs, because for our next week discussion, we're going to do alien chairs, and holy shit, aliens must discuss what chairs they're going to use. Because
how often does that Klingon chair show up?
You'll see next week, but
they just all buy them from IKEA,
Yeah, it's a little too bulky, this one.
It's bulky. It looks comfy.
True. But it looks like it should be, like, in his quarters, not on the bridge.
Looks like a gamer chair.
A little bit.
Yes. Oh,
like
man.
He should have a joystick
like
built.
Chairs.
He should have a joystick built into one side with, like, a little, like...
It's called the manual steering column.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Damn it, I was just about to say that. It kind of looks like, because there's a little grill in front, it's like a foot warmer if he wants.
Ooh, that'd be nice.
So yeah, it's a bit chilly.
Actually, hold on. That picture on the left looks like it's on the Enterprise E-Bridge, because there's Elcar's displays in the background.
Oh god, you're right. That is...
Oh, well then maybe it is.
It is the same chair.
That's hilarious.
Amazing. You're right, Jake. Good catch. I completely missed that. The background's all wrong. That is not the Enterprise bridge. It's the Enterprise E-Bridge. Fantastic.
That is very funny.
Oh, thank God that scene was deleted. It was so dumb.
Okay, let's jump forward to the Kelvin movies, where we see a lot of different chairs because there's a lot of different ships. Let's start with the Kelvin, which we see a very a good shot of the chair in the Kelvin, especially when Daddy Kirk is getting blown out of it.
I love that that's one of the shots.
It's the one that's on Memory Alpha for this chair, which is kind of hilarious.
I was hoping you were going to say that's the shot on Memory Alpha for George Kirk.
Oh, I wish.
That's it.
Yeah,
basic.
I like the burgundy. I don't think I ever realized that was its color.
Oh yeah, it's a nice color. I think the shape, you can see where the Enterprise chair's shape is going to kind of come out of this chair. So I actually think they did put at least that much work into it.
Yeah.
It's kind of flat looking otherwise, so I don't think it would be comfy.
Probably not.
And I think he's still got an eject Finney button.
Oh, definitely.
On those rests.
He better. How did we never meet Finney in the Kelvin timeline? Shit.
That's an excellent question.
Ooh, what's your fanfics now? All right, I'm going to jump forward to the Enterprise from the Kelvin movies, which, honestly, it's so different from the TOS Enterprise chair that I'm a little surprised that we got this out of it, because it looks very plastic.
I think it was the Honest trailers for this movie that basically said something to the effect that this Enterprise looks like it was designed by Apple.
Oh my goodness. Oh, yes, you're right.
This is, if you gave Johnny Ive the TOS chair and said, make your version of this, this is what it would be.
Yeah, but you'd have the option of having it in rose gold as well.
True.
I don't think there's any similarity between this and the TOS chair, really.
No, really, all it's got is it's got the very large, square, black panel in the back, but it's a lot taller. It has a headrest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like I said, to steal their line, it's what if Apple designed Star Trek.
Yeah, you're very right. That's all I got to say on this one.
It's there.
I don't hate it. Maybe it's just that the Kelvin movies are just also everything is just so clean and sterile in them.
Even for Star Trek, yeah.
Yeah. That I am always taken a little out of them.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
Yeah. The USS Vengeance, which we see in Into Darkness, has a different aesthetic, though. It's still very clean and sterile looking, but it's got, like this nice chrome-looking finish.
Yeah, So I like the chair, but it looks like it doesn't swivel, which I feel like is a problem for a captain.
Oh, you're right. It doesn't look like it swivels.
Like, give that thing a swivel.
It almost looks like it has the little, like, leg huggers that, like, TMP had.
Kind of, yeah. And the other thing, too, is it does seem a little self-consciously evil, which is weird.
That's the lighting, I think.
This is an evil chair for an evil ship.
It also looks like it's for a much larger person than RoboCop here.
One size fits all.
In the photo where he's in it, it doesn't seem as disproportionate, you know? And look, there's Greg Gunberg.
Well, I think this might be a painting.
Oh.
All right. I think this is beyond we see the Franklin, which is the ship that Jayla's chilling out in.
Mm-hmm.
Its chair looks like it was sitting in an attic for years.
It looks like a guitar case.
Tell me more.
Well, you know how, like, guitar cases usually, it's like a black hardtop thing, and it's got the silver, like, it goes around it, and when you open it, the silver, like, splits.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of, like, or any musical instrument. It could be a tuba, whatever you want.
I wouldn't have made that
It just reminds me of a
connection,
musical instrument case.
But now that you say it, I kind of see it. It certainly feels old-fashioned, and it is on a ship that's been sitting on the surface of that planet for like a century, so the
Good shape, considering.
Yeah. But the whole
certainly doesn't
thing.
Swivel.
Yeah, no, I guess it mustn't.
Yeah, I think they just went to make something that looks kind of antique-y.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it's many iterations before even the chairs we see in Enterprise.
Yeah, but it also looks a little more Star Trek-y because it doesn't look like Apple designed it.
It looks not at all comfy. It looks
Not
like it would
really.
actually hurt to sit. This could be a Klingon chair because it looks like it hurts to sit on it.
Yeah, yeah.
That said, the way she's sitting confirms it for me. Is Jada must be bisexual, because that's not how we sit in a captain's chair.
Oh, Jayla sits in a captain's chair.
It's how I would sit in it, but
Okay. Yeah, fuck the rest of the Kelvin movies. Let's look at the chairs that we see in Discovery, because the aesthetic has changed.
Oh my god, they're real teeny tiny. That one
much.
actually looks like a joystick. Like, that looks like the thing you used to play Pong with.
Oh,
yeah,
shit,
so this
you're
is
right.
the Shenzhou chair, which very shiny too.
Shenzhou chair. Psh.
Yeah, you know, it's like it harkens back to the sort of the gray panels on Kirk's original chair, except they can make it look a little bit more like chrome than they could in the 60s.
I don't think it was supposed to be chrome. It looked white, I thought.
I just thought it was kind of gray, wasn't it?
Well, we'll see. We'll see again in a minute. We'll compare notes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it has that sort of very bulky TOS look. It doesn't look like they just took it out of a race car or bought it at Staples and added some extra gewgaws, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I like the kind of honeycomb shape that it gives you.
Yeah, that is
good
what it
shape.
is. Yeah. Yeah, solid chair.
I will say, I think there's a line somewhere in Discovery about Captain Giorgio and how she used to use her armrests or something to feel comfy or something like that when she was feeling anxious.
There's a little bump due to a manufacturing flaw.
Yeah, but when you actually look at this chair, that line works on the Discovery chair, but not the Shenzhou chair.
Mm.
Because if we move forward and look at the chair on the Discovery, it's got the armrests have a lip.
Yeah.
So I think someone done fucked up.
I do like that chair, though. It's very, again,
No, I
it's
don't
like
know.
kind of TOS with money.
Yeah, it definitely harkens back to Kirk's chair. Like the profile view.
Yeah. Big arms. And again, you feel like this was mostly built, not just we modified something from an office supply store.
Oh, like the rest of Star Trek.
Yes. Yeah, which again, I recognize that even the original Kirk chair was probably an office supply store, just office chairs had a different aesthetic in the 60s.
Oh
but
yeah,
they at least
we mentioned that last week.
Yeah, they put enough stuff on it that it still look unique. Whereas a lot of the other ones, it's just kind of like, I think I could probably find that model if I wanted.
Yeah, it probably helps that Discovery has a shitload of money.
So much money.
Compared to the other shows.
Too much money.
I feel like
All
it has
the
more
money.
money than some of the fucking movies did, even adjusted for inflation.
Well, that's because Discovery thinks it's a movie.
Wait, is that Michael sitting in the chair? Who's in the chair on the top left?
No, that's
Lorca.
yeah, that's
Oh,
Jason
also
Isaacs.
bisexual.
Or Isaac. I
Chaotic.
always forget.
Chaotic bisexual. Mostly
Yeah, I
just
like
chaotic.
the pose. His barefoot pose in chair
I
was.
say I
really
want to
good.
tickle his little feet. I don't know what he's doing, but
that is a great. It must have been a publicity shot, and I love it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. We also in Discovery see
Oh,
a new
God.
Enterprise chair, which I assume we're going to see the same chair in Strange New Worlds. Strange New Worlds is coming out pretty soon, as of where we're at in the current timeline now. But I assume it
Yeah.
will be at least similar. And I think it's a white kind of nestled area. I don't
Yeah.
think it's ever supposed to be like chrome looking.
Yeah. Well, like I said, in the original, I don't think it was chrome, but I do think it was gray. Here, it's
Well-
definitely closer to white.
I like
When we
it.
get back to our screen that has all the chairs on it, we'll look. But I think it's white.
Mm.
Because I think the chair that they create in Discovery for the throwback chair has a very similar look, but kind of like a look with money.
Yeah, well, and the main difference seems it looks a lot like the original. The main difference seems to be they've added some additional wood paneling to the outside as well.
I like the wood paneling. It looks
Yeah,
really
it's very
classy
nice.
with the wood panel.
Yeah, no,
paneling.
it looks fucking great.
I like the extra the little bit more angle on the armrests also makes it look like real classy.
Yeah, and I can't remember. We'll have to see when we get there. I don't remember if Kirk's chair had the padding on the inside of the arms as well.
Oh, good question.
I don't
know.
remember, so we'll have to look.
Yeah, we'll compare. I mean, I'm sure our listeners who are watching along on the blog as we discuss this are saying like, you guys don't remember at all what Kirk's chair looked like, do you?
But yeah,
but we'll get to that in a sec.
Well, at
it's
least
a
in
classic-
my case, they would be right.
It's a classic tweaked just a little, not completely redesigned like in the Kelvin timeline.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, so much of what they did with the Enterprise in Discovery, like the uniforms, the look, all of that, it's like, this is what I'd wanted from the Kelvin timeline.
Aha.
It's like a little more money, slightly redesigned so it looks like it's not made of cardboard and Christmas lights.
It looks more like what they would have done in the 60s if they had this money and this
Technology.
Not
Yeah.
like the Kelvin movies where they just redesigned it from the get-go.
Yeah, exactly.
Chopped off Uhura's sleeves like fucking pricks.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to move forward, though, because we're almost to the end of the chairs that I have pictures of. I know we see the La Sirena chair. Tough to get a good screen grab of it because, goddamn,
Yeah.
modern fucking Trek is so darkly lit that it's fucking impossible to get photos of anything.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that one, especially, like, less from
Almost
this.
like a car.
Yeah,
it
le-
looks like
And it looks
It
inflatable.
does.
Like, it looks like the back or the headrest is just inflatable.
one
little
thing
bit.
that
I don't
Isn't-
like that at all.
one thing that's not clear from these photos, which I never even noticed in the show, but that I saw a picture of at some point ages ago, the headrest actually also has the little mermaid badge design kind of embossed into that little leather circle.
Yeah, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
know
that-
the picture in the middle here is a screen grab from the season 2 trailer.
Oh, okay.
So you can't see it, but the mermaid logo is gone, and it's whatever the new logo is for season 2. Which people on the internet were like, "Oh, we have to dissect everything from the trailers."
Weebs. Yeah, I don't know. I think
This coming from you, Jake?
I think this kind of makes sense in context, though, right? Because he's like the ship. It's like a cargo ship, kind of, right? It's like a
Probably
ship for hire.
Mass produced.
Well, also just like if you've ever seen like a long haul trucker, they have big cushy chairs like this because they have to sit in them
Yeah,
for
true.
so fucking long.
And
So
they
it's kind
put
of-
nice blow-up headrests back there so that they can be comfy.
Yeah.
I bet that
I'm
didn't
surprised
come
he
with
doesn't
the
have one of those,
original
like,
thing.
one of those like beaded things that you see
Oh
in taxi
no!
cabs.
Oh, yeah, he does. It's not there right now.
Yeah, it does. Like, I feel like this does look again like we bought a car chair and just added some extra crap. Like we've regressed a little to a less bespoke looking chair, even though for all I know this thing is completely bespoke.
Yeah, it's funny because
it makes sense in context.
You can see in the angle from the back that it's got a lot of weird bullshit on the back of it.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
the
interesting.
Massage feature.
Ooh, it damn well better be.
There you go.
That's pretty nice. I like that. I want that chair now. I will say it does look
only
comfy.
if we can have him in it as well.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
All right, I know you guys haven't watched Lower Decks, but I have a couple chairs from Lower Decks to show you guys. The first is from the Cerritos, which is the main ship in Lower Decks, and it looks like a fucking Lego.
Yeah, it's boring.
It doesn't look comfortable.
But I get it, it's animation. You can't make it too complex or detailed.
But we see other chairs. I have other chairs from Lower Decks to show you guys, and they all look like actual good Star Trek chairs.
Oh, god damn it.
Well, this thing looks like a toy.
It looks like shit.
I don't like it. I don't like the color. We see another California class ship, and the only difference between the chairs is the color of it's kind of like an
eye.
Oh wait, I mean it's still the same shape, but it's a different color of this.
Yeah.
What would you even call this? Like a light maroon-ish color.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that color can change ship by ship, but
Okay.
otherwise, it is so not an interesting chair at all.
Not at all.
I don't like it.
It also looks weirdly low to the ground in that one picture, even though in the next one it seems to be tall enough that you can sit in it like a normal person. I don't know.
I don't pretend to understand dimensions of people.
True. What else are they giving us in this show?
All right, well, let's look at the Titan chair, because we do see the Riker captaining the Titan, and it looks like a Star Trek chair.
Yeah, it does.
It's got that, it's a little like the Shenzhou chair, where it's kind of got that hexagon shape.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the context of the show, the idea is that the Cerritos is like a B tier ship.
True.
Okay.
And whereas the Titan is, the flagship,
That's true.
So the flagship gets all the nice add-ons.
Looks like the whole front could be an Elcar's display if it wanted, though I don't know what use a display behind your calves is.
Massage feature.
Fair enough.
Accidentally jettisoning Finney
Yeah.
with your calves.
Fucking Finney.
He knows what he did.
Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good example of a chair in animated form. So I give the Lower Decks team some credit for this chair.
That's much better.
We see one more chair, and that's the Archimedes chair, captained by Sonia Gomez. Spoilers.
Nice.
Very clearly, like, movies 1 through 6 inspired.
A little bit, yeah. It's got that very padded kind of like a nice office chair, like fucking Jake would have or something.
Yeah.
So he could balance his checkbook.
Yeah, you can see that there's the Jettison Finney buttons are on the arms. I always look out for those because I feel like the Voyagers doesn't have those.
Well, yeah, no, because they've got the, like, one big-ass panel between the chairs.
Although on her chair, it's the spill hot chocolate button.
Hey.
Yes. Did they get her actor to do the voice?
They did.
Oh,
She's not very good. I remember being very
Not a huge
distracted in her
surprise.
episode, being like, oh, honey, I'm glad they got you, but oof. Good chair, though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the last ship I want to show you guys, I'm thoroughly enjoying Star Trek Prodigy so far.
We finally
Same.
caught up.
Oh, I think right now we're at the mid-season break, because their season's actually going to be like 20-something episodes long.
Yeah, but I think this break's going to be longer than the first one was.
Whatever's
so-
available now, we've watched it all.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like a season broken into quarters.
Yeah.
I kind of
How
like
they're
that, though.
releasing it.
I'm fine with that.
I do love that they actually built
They did.
the chair for promotional purposes.
It looks really comfy. I don't know I don't know if it really looks like a captain's chair as much as it just looks like a comfy chair to have in your study.
Yeah, it looks like a beanbag chair.
A little bit, because it's so low and wide.
Or
And
like,
you kind
you
of
ever
have
seen?
to lean back.
You know what it reminds me of? You know how they make those chairs that are like yoga ball or whatever chairs? You know those. Maybe they're not called yoga balls, but you know the big inflatable like
Oh, the balance
exercise
ball
balls.
chairs.
Yeah.
But it actually has like a frame around it, so it actually becomes a chair. It kind of
Yep.
reminds me of that.
One of my old coworkers
interesting.
had one of those.
It looks to me a little like if you opened up a Polly Pocket.
Ah!
Yeah, it does.
Aw, I love Polly Pocket, and also
they're-
that reference.
Yeah,
Hey.
but I mean, it does kind of get to the fact that just like so much of that ship's design seems to be like whoever designed it, it's like it was given leeway to go a little nuts. So they went a little nuts with the chair, too.
You want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
But there is there's some arm panels. There's scalloped back.
Can you jettison that bitch?
You can jettison all the bitches.
Definitely.
Nice. Yeah, it does look like a seashell back there. You're right, Ames, and that is a classic Polly Pocket shape.
Now, the chap on the right, that's actually the voice of Del, right?
Yes, Dal.
Dal. And is that
I haven't learned all their characters' names. Yeah, this is Rock.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, there's Dal and Rock, Zero, Quinn, Jacob, Pog or something.
It's Jacob.
Jacob,
and then
Jankum,
Murphy.
Murph.
And then,
Wow, so Rock's voice actor is actually genuinely quite young. Holy shit.
is that everybody?
I've lost track of who you've said.
Oh, yeah, Janeway. No shit. Yeah, I knew that one. I think that's right. I think I got him.
But yeah, I mean, obviously it's got people sitting on it both times, so you can't see it super great, but it translated into a real chair, so well done.
Yeah, I would like to have that chair.
Yeah.
It's a really neat shape.
It is.
I don't know. I'm still not sold on the captain's chair shape of it, but I do like that, like its shape just on principle of the thing.
Well, I feel like if you could flatten it all the way out, it'd be like the coolest daybed ever.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it has like an adjustable back.
It might.
All right, so I'm going to put them all on the screen together again. And now that we can see it, I still do think the original Enterprise chair is surrounded in a white box.
That's gray. That is.
It looks white.
It is on a white background, and it is not the same color.
Well, it's because it's in shadow.
No, it's 100% gray. I disagree.
Then why wouldn't they make the Pike version gray?
They made it just. It is also gray. It's just a lighter shade.
Okay, cool. All right, so we're looking at all the chairs. There are so many like gamer chairs, like Caitlin said in here. Like it's really kind of funny, and a lot of just repurposed chairs that I'm sure they just swiped out of cars.
Yeah.
I have literally never looked at these aside from during this right now, and I think that my favorite is definitely going to be the Prodigy chair, just because it is the most believably a built from scratch real life thing that they shoved somewhere. They didn't just pull out of, did anybody else ever go to Chunky's growing up? It's like
No.
So there's before movie theaters actually just had like big nice reclining seats and shit, there was a chain, or maybe it was just the one, maybe it was just an independent thing. Either way, there was a place called Chunky's and you would go see movies and all of the chairs were literally chairs ripped out of cars.
Huh.
And they all reclined and
it was
fucking sick. As a kid, that was like wicked cool, was to go to Chunky's. That was like a birthday party. If you weren't going to the bowling alley, you were going to Chunky's and it was fucking awesome.
Nice.
Life was way easier when we were like 10 years old, man. In some ways. But yeah, I think my favorite is going to go to Prodigy just because it is like the most unique while stretching the boundaries of what is chair.
Exactly. I also give them credit for having made that physical in existence chair, because you can say all day long like, yeah, it looks great in an animation, but you can do whatever the fuck you want with animation because it doesn't have to bend to the rules of reality.
Yeah.
I want it in my house. Like, I really like that chair.
It's
and again, like bonus points if I can fold it all the way out and sleep on it.
It kind of needs a footrest.
That's fine. Maybe that centerpiece pops out. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Though if it had a footrest, it would become even more gamer cherry, especially if it pops out of the bottom, because that's exactly what Chris's gamer chair has. It has a little recessed like footrest thing that you can slide out at will. And it is the most uncomfortable fucking thing ever.
Oh no.
I don't like it. Do you like it?
The footrest? No, I never use it.
Yeah, it sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
The rest of the chair is good, but...
Yeah, the rest of the chair is quite good. Well, at least it was before Barnabas destroyed it.
Good kitty.
No.
How are you feeling, kitty? Jake?
I think I'm having a hard time with top. I'm thinking I'm going to give it to the Defiant chair because, it looks relatively comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It's not over the top, spacey or weird. It doesn't have random holes in it.
Sure.
Yep, that one. And it's practical, especially when we get to the point where there's, little control panels and stuff near it.
Yeah, I like the fact that it has those control panels because I feel like most of the chairs don't have enough that the captain can have.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's a good point.
I think it looks like it mixes a good amount of practicality and comfort.
I like it.
I am torn between TOS, Disco Enterprise, and
Strange New Worlds.
Protostar.
Oh, shit.
You like white accents, huh?
Yeah, I like a nice...
Or light gray accents, whatever they are.
A nice bulky ass chair.
A nice bulky ass chair.
Would it help you if I said that my favorite's gonna go to Pike's chair at Discovery because it is so perfect for that ship, and it's not just a chair; it's an actual like envisioning of a future captain's chair.
Yeah. And it's where Captain Daddy Pike sits.
Oh, it does look like Kirk's might have the padding inside the armrest as well. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna give it to Disco Enterprise. I do quite like the Prodigy one, but it is a little weirdly wide. That's its one, it's strange.
I know. I couldn't find a good screen grab of it, and I didn't want to just rewatch the whole show again. Even though I probably will at some point to find out.
Listen, it was made for Chakotay, and it's little known that after he got home from being in the Delta Quadrant, he pigged out a lot.
Actually, what it does is he's gone vegetarian, and all those pads absorb his vegetarian farts.
Oh.
Oh no. Least favorite is easy for me.
Me too.
Because
me too.
Jesus Christ, fuck the twalk chair. The twalk and search for Spock chair.
Oh, that's not the one I'm going with.
Oh,
Cerritos.
I really dislike this one.
But it's close.
Yeah, no, Cerritos for me. It sucks.
Which one is Cerritos? Oh yeah, that one does suck.
The one in Lower Decks, the main Lower Decks ship.
Especially knowing they could have done better makes me hate it even more.
What about this ugly thing?
That is the Enterprise E chair.
Yeah, well, fuck that chair.
I don't like
the hole in the back. I don't know why it's there. Like, what is that? A fucking glory hole? Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to Excelsior NX Excelsior chair.
Oh, with the little roller coaster bars that come down and hold you in place.
Because it doesn't look comfortable. It's like on this little spindly base. It looks cheap, and the armrests that swing in, and I hate it.
Oh, I like that we all had different answers.
I just I'm not gonna lie. I think if not for the Cerritos chair, it probably would have gone to one of the movie chairs, because they are all super boring and uninteresting.
No, like these things?
Sorry, no, like the 1 through 6 movie chairs, I should say.
Oh, yeah.
They're just
I really don't like the twalk one, just because the seashell shape looks really awkward. The arms aren't really arms; they're just those leg holders.
Yeah,
the color is bad.
Those definitely were, until we got to the Cerritos, I was like, it's probably gonna be one of the TOS movie chairs, and then that thing popped up, and I was like, never mind.
No, Dimitri.
So really, it made my life easier because I didn't have to figure out which of them was the worst. Because they're all bad in their own special way.
I want to give a little bit of extra point to the Excelsior from Sulu's ship because of the nice blue.
That's true.
Yeah.
I cannot decry. That's a great shade of blue.
And I was going to give an honorable mention to Captain Pike's chair, but you already did that, Ames, so I don't have to.
Yeah.
But any chair that cups the bottom of Captain Daddy Pike is A-okay with me.
Chair that cups my balls.
No, that's a weird-shaped chair.
No, I cup the balls. The chair cups his butt.
Any chair in a storm.
Any chair in a storm, wow.
Dimitri guesting, hello.
Hi, Dimmy.
Hi, pretty boy. Are you a handsome boy, D?
All right, you gonna jake us out?
I'm gonna jake us out. Yeah, so this has been our chair discussion. It has been very exciting in that it makes me want to sit down a whole lot.
Well, that's what we've been doing this whole time.
Next week, more sitting down, because next week I'm collecting all the alien chairs.
Ooh.
Some of which are really cool, some of which are the same chair, week by week by week, race by race by race.
Shock.
So we're going to see a lot of those next week. Other things we're doing next week includes more Talking Voyager.
What? Kel surprise.
I know, right? So there's 2 more episodes we're covering then. They're going to be episodes Deadlock and Innocence. So check us out next week for that.
Innocence.
Meantime, you can listen to any other episodes that aren't those 2 episodes that haven't come out yet, anywhere on our SoundCloud page or any other podcast application that you like. You can friend us on the Facebook. You can friend us on the Twitter. Definitely make sure you're following our Tumblr, because that's where you can see all these chairs and where you can see all the other blog activities that we've been putting together. I've been having a lot of fun doing that stuff with you. I hope you all are enjoying it.
Absolutely.
And we're going to do some more next week. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
Jake.
And this is always Chris.
Sit down, everyone. Sit.
Sit the fuck down.